What's up? Welcome back, everybody. This is the Fish and Grits podcast coming to you live on June 11th, 2020. My name is Lionel McNamara. I'm joined by my compadres, my partners in crime, my minions, Ryan Dollar.
What up, what up, what up?
Marco Restrepo.
Marco Restrepo.
And Micah Poole. What's going on, guys?
Hey,
Nothing much.
another
week. You know, same old.
Yeah, man. It's been a ride the last few days. So the PlayStation did their game reveal today.
I did not watch it. How was it?
Will you just calm down, sister? Okay. All right. So you remember like Xbox did the same thing where they were like, the new Xbox, it's a square. It's literally a box. These are the games. And everyone was just sort of like mostly it was like, where's Halo, right? Like, what's going on? So PlayStation was supposed to do theirs last week, I think. And, the whole country was burning down. So they decided to do it today instead. And I have thoughts. The PlayStation 5 itself looks like a router. It is hideous.
Is it small?
No, it looks like a sandwich. Ryan, share it for us. Let's look at it.
All right, let's see.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. It does look like a Alienware router or something.
Right? It looks like something that like Razer made or something like that. Like it's like really hardcore, like I'm a gamer,
Speaking, not to bring up razors, but what are they thinking right now?
Y'all seeing this?
Yeah.
That I don't know what that is.
Like a Motorola Surfboard router.
Right? I like that they're branching out. I like that they're changing the controller shape after so long, but still keeping a lot of the placement. I like that they're branching out with the colors. One of my favorite things about my PlayStation 4 Pro is the off-center unbalanced light strip that they have when it's on. So like it like tapers off as it gets to the end, which is pretty neat. But that's hideous, man.
It is.
And like one of my very favorite things, sorry, I'm yawning a lot, guys. One of my very favorite things about technology recently is that people have been designing technology so that it doesn't take up too much attention in your home, like everything's like nice and soft,
Right.
and
Fits
easy
in.
to hide. Yeah. So like the Google Home was a good example of that, or the HomePod or whatever, but this is just like, I game, dude. And it like, when I saw it, I was like, man, I don't know. But then I watched the game trailers and oh my God. So this one, Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. If you guys didn't play the original Horizon Zero Dawn, it was incredible. Like you ride robot dinosaurs and like shoot them with bows and arrows, which is dope. Then they had Project Aaliyah, which is from Square Enix, which is their new property. They had 2K21 with Zion, looked nuts in the trailer. What else did I see? They're remaking Demon Souls.
This.
And that one, Ghostwire looks really good. Returnal looks really good. And then to cap it all off, Spider-Man Miles Morales. The best Spider-Man.
I finally saw that. I went and watched the Into the Spider-Verse movie.
Right. So the trailer, watch the trailer on your own. I don't want to play it like over the podcast because we're about to get like copyright striked, and I'm not doing that. But like the original Marvel's Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4 was like those Batman Arkham games, which are Spider-Man, which I dig. And then they had Miles in it, and I was like, oh, cool. And you could play as him, but before he gets his powers. And I was like, they're probably going to chicken out. Like, nobody wants to make the black guy Spider-Man. and now that's like the whole game, and it's like it's the best thing. I just wish that it was the same Miles as from Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Well, like looks wise, he looks pretty
And-
similar, I think.
mean,
If
just
that
older.
Miles were a real person.
No, I mean like his personality and stuff like that. In the PS4 game, he's just like such a super dork. He's just like melanin tinted Peter Parker, right? He's like, I like science, and whereas in the movie, you know, like he's like fun, and Shamik Moore has a really good voice for him. So
Little hip, yeah.
anyway, I'll be.
Does he wear Jordans? Does he wear Jordans in the video game?
He does. Oh, in the game?
In the game, no. He wears what are those? And they're tied, and he has like mom jeans. Like,
Does he really?
Yeah, they really did my man Miles dirty in that first one. But I'm excited. I'm excited about playing as Miles Morales. The dynamic weather and stuff like that looks really cool. So I'll be getting this PS5 right away, and the Xbox Series X can series suck my dick and for a couple months, and then I'll get it.
The
get
PS5, it sort of looks like it only belongs in PS5 commercials. Like it's like a big white room, a couch, and then I got the PS5, and it's just sitting there, and there's nothing else.
Yeah,
Like,
what is that going to
match.
look like in somebody's living room?
It's going to look like the first version of TiVo when they actually released their own box.
You know, but you remember when the PlayStation 3 came out, they had the 6-axis controller that they were going to release, which looked like a boomerang.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that thing.
They abandoned it.
the prototype.
I wonder if this is going to turn like just into a black box
Right.
in the next like 6 months. You know what I mean?
It's going to be a hard sell to a lot of wives to be like, hey, I know everything's been sleek and black for the past couple of years, but how about white with black accents and blue lights?
I wonder if you can lay it down. Because
By the way, we're redecorating our living room to look like Tron.
I mean, you could
that'd
do
be pretty
worse.
cool.
I hide my PlayStation behind the TV anyway, and it's like tucked behind the sound bar, so you can't see that shit. And like I would get the digital only version. Like I don't need to be swapping game discs out. I'm lazy. So I'm gonna put it in like a cabinet under my TV or something like that. Just run the HDMI up. You know what I mean?
My
It's
Xbox
interesting that they
is
still have a CD port at all. You
behind
think?
that wall.
Yeah, it's because a lot of people are upset about the idea of software as a service or games as a service, right? So like games as a subscription. Because the idea is if you buy a digital copy of the game, you don't actually own anything.
You can't trade it in, but you can also share the licenses.
Right.
All I know is that I don't go to GameStop, and I don't want to go to GameStop, and I don't like switching discs out. So it's the digital only version for me. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I mean,
I love video
in this day and
games.
age, there's no need to have a physical disc.
Even when you have the
Just-
physical disc, don't you just download it onto the device and never have to use the
To make
disc?
it faster, yeah.
Yeah. They're
Well,
too big.
You still need the disc to play it, but it
Yeah.
just makes it faster than it
Which is
downloads.
the dumbest shit, man. Like, what is this, like 2001, where I'm trying to play like Deus Ex on my PC? I got to put my disc in.
That is legit a sleeper goat game.
So good. The new prequels that they came out recently, Mankind Divided and I don't remember what the first one was, were really good, like stealth platform action games. They're a lot of fun. So I want to start a new segment. I think that we sort of we started on an accident already, but it's the loser of the week, right? So we've talked about like Michael Thomas, what a loser. Drew Brees, total loser. Well, today's loser of the week, I don't know if you heard about this, but NASCAR banned the Confederate flag from the races, which is that combined with Bubba Wallace driving in this most recent race in the Black Lives Matter car is like the very best thing. Like so many people, so many NASCAR fans were like, like they were probably so mad because all the people like me on Facebook, they've already had to like unfollow them and stuff like that so they don't get blown up with like, you're a racist. And so like there are a ton of racist white folks, like Southern hillbilly white folks who turned on the race this week and were like, man, I can't wait to watch cars drive around in a circle, man. I love it. It's so great. And then they found out that not only is the black guy driving a car that says Black Lives Matter, but then they can't have their flag. And you know that they were just like, everywhere I turn, I'm getting shamed for being a racist. 6 weeks in a row with my Southern voice, Ryan. Is that what you're just doing?
Yeah.
Every week. I'm going to do hillbilly ASMR, I think. And then I'm going to talk like this.
I put the dip in the corner of my mouth.
A big old chaw like Red Man. So anyway, so a bunch of people got really mad about this, which as far as I'm concerned, they can all go eat a dick. Actually, now I like NASCAR more. Like I'll watch NASCAR now, or I'll try to watch it again because Bubba Wallace and they banned the Confederate flag. You know, it just also because like I want NASCAR to get like extra viewers because of this, because I want to reinforce their good decisions. But the day that they announced it, unfortunately, NASCAR truck driver and owner, NASCAR driver Ray Ciccarelli announced that he was retiring from the NASCAR Truck Series in protest of the Confederate flag ban.
Man, I don't know how they're going to get by without him.
I don't know either, because just like the Confederacy, Ciccarelli hasn't won a single thing. He's just a big fat loser. So, bye, Ray. He's got like 39 races, 0 wins. 0. He's the worst. Yeah, like this guy was like, I'm quitting NASCAR. And everyone like who watches NASCAR is like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, who cares, dude? So Ray, you're the loser of the week. You and Drew Brees, you're on the same page. I'm gonna make fun of you for the rest of this podcast.
This Ray guy, I mean, the fact that he has like an Italian name like that, it's like Italian people weren't even really considered white. Like it hasn't been that long since they made it to that side. So it's funny that, I mean, obviously it's deeply embedded in him, but
you nerds never watched Gangs of New York, where it's like all the Irish people are like, you're not white. It's like I feel like it'll be a rite of passage, you know, when Black Americans are being racist about another race not being American. You know what I mean? Like that means that they have fully integrated, because now, you know, Irish people, Italian people, Russian people, all of them, they're all racist, and they're like, you're not white. And all the like Anglo-Saxon white people are like, yeah, what that weird ginger said, you know, like if you can get into the KKK, you're like, you've made it in America. So I'm looking forward to the day when, you know, we have become an equal society and Black Americans can join in the timeless American tradition of also being racist to whatever the newest immigrant class is. I don't know who that's going to be. Maybe
there's going to be some big blob of mixed people.
Right. Or maybe we'll like circle all the way back around and hit Italians again. All right. Enough with the dilly-dallying. So we owe Micah. We've been threatening for a while, and we were going to do it last week, but you know, we had more important things to talk about last week. Micah has got what we shall say are loud, counterintuitive opinions on the football world, specifically a single position in the football world. I like to think of this as like the grand unifying theory of why Micah believes things that he believes, such as like, how come he doesn't like Matt Ryan or whatever. So we're going to let Micah start it off, and we're going to argue with him about it. If you don't want to listen to us nerd out about quarterback pay, quarterback play, things like that, you can go ahead and probably skip to like hour 2, the second hour of the show. Just go ahead and fast forward. Or if you want, you can just sort of, if you're watching on YouTube, just mute us, mute this video, and then pull up lo-fi hip-hop beats to chill, relax, study to.
Just look at our
Chilled
facial
Cow.
expressions.
And just look at our facial expressions. That'll probably be pretty good. Or try to imagine what we're saying. Anyway, that's it. Micah,
All right.
educate me.
So I am more of the old school type mentality. Everybody loves to say the phrase, "Oh, team." Yeah, teams win championships. But where we're going now is teams are willing to pay so much to quarterbacks that it's actually breaking up really talented teams. So, for instance, look at the Rams. Jared Goff got them to a championship. Was he the main reason they made it? No, but he played well. They made it to a Super Bowl, wound up losing, but they made it to a Super Bowl nonetheless. So what did they do? They go out, give him $110 million guaranteed because he proved that he was an elite quarterback and was worth elite type money. So there's a trade-off right now. So essentially the trade-off is you pay your quarterback and you're going to wind up losing in other areas. It's like an economic theory, opportunity cost is that the more you invest into one area, it's going to cost you in other areas. So with the Rams, paying Jared Goff, what did it cost them? They lost their starting left guard, and Roger Saffold, who was a very good left guard, and their center, John Sullivan. They might have been able to get him to come back, but they didn't have the money to pay him to potentially get him. So he wound up retiring. So you have a second-year right guard, you have a rookie center and a rookie left guard, and an immobile quarterback, and one who's not like Brady, who can just who can decide who they're going to throw to before the snap, just by reading the defenses. So it's like, all right, you put yourself in this predicament because you overpaid for a guy who's not good enough to to play well enough to pick up from all the holes that you created in your own roster. Now, Matt Ryan, I'll tie this to Matt Ryan. As a Falcons fan, I don't hate Matt Ryan. He is the best quarterback in Falcons history, but it's not like he's got much competition. The problem with the Falcons roster right now is he took $150 million over 5 years and said, "Oh yeah, I want to lead this team to a championship." But what does it cost us? It costs us defense. We've struggled to get defense, but what we've had to do, we've had to go and we've gone offensive linemen, we've gotten him receivers, but we've yet to address the defense. Finally this year we addressed the defense, and finally we've addressed the defense, and now we're at a point where, all right, we could potentially do something, but we still have some questions, still have some holes, i.e. left guard, that we yet to fill. So I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to just stop it right there, but we can start asking questions and whatnot.
Micah, back in 2005, what do you think the average quarterback percentage of the cap was?
Percentage?
When they were making around $17 to $20 million a year.
2005, there weren't that many that made that much.
What's the average cap hit?
Yeah, what do you think the
percentage?
The average percentage was probably around.
Let me rephrase. For the franchise quarterbacks that had been paid, not including the people who had just broken in or like the bums.
Probably around between
John
10
Kitna.
and 13%.
13.9%. In this day and age, do you know what the average percentage of the cap is for franchise quarterbacks?
About 13 between.
It's a little bit higher, but not a whole lot.
Yeah. But the difference, there is a difference now, and back then you paid guys who were truly good. Now you're paying. Ryan Tannehill just got a $30 million contract because he carried the Titans to the AFC Championship game, despite the fact that it was really the running back. So
he carried them postseason.
Who?
Tannehill. I mean, Henry helped, but Tannehill, once they started him, that team turned around.
Oh
and
yeah,
went
was he
6-2?
The reason they made it there?
100%? No, but he was a large percentage of it because Mariota was not the answer.
I agree, but is it $30 million worth? Was he $30 million a year good?
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Would you rather pay the market value for Tannehill and continue this trajectory upward where you don't have to worry about quarterback anymore? Or do you not want to pay him, let him walk, and then be ass out again and be looking for a quarterback or rely on –
But here's the thing, and it's what nobody wants to talk about. Look at how many teams have made the playoffs with backups.
Who has won the Super Bowl? Who has won this? Tannehill was brought in specifically to provide competition for Marcus Mariota
because he is a starter.
He was there as a 1A. Yeah. So don't do that. Nick Foles is another. Who has won the Super Bowl? I don't care about making the playoffs because who gives a shit who makes the playoffs? Somebody from the NFC East is going to make the playoffs. Who cares? Who has won the Super Bowl? No. Who has won the Super Bowl in the last 15 years? What are the quarterbacks that have won the Super Bowl in the last 15 years?
Brady's won 6. Manning's won 2.
Russ.
Both Mannings have won 2. Russell Wilson, who before he became Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Pat Mahomes.
Nick Foles.
Aaron Rodgers, Nick Foles. And
where do you think all of those quarterbacks have been in regards to quarterback pay comparatively to each other over that time span?
As far as what would you mean?
So like Aaron Rodgers was the highest paid player in 2013 in the NFL. Russell Wilson
wasn't at the time he won.
But he was still – that was like a year later or something like that?
No,
like
it was 3 years before that. He won in 2010.
Okay. But you paid the elite player. Tom Brady's the outlier.
That's the problem.
Peyton Manning. Okay, so you said in 2005 that you used to pay guys who were good. The top paid quarterbacks in 2005 were Michael Vick at the most with $23 million. We paid him $1,500,000 per touchdown. Matt Hasselbeck at $19 million. Tom Brady at $15 million. Tom Brady in 2005, he won that year? Did they win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they won. They beat the Eagles.
He won in 2005 as the third highest paid player in the NFL?
I don't think they won in 2005.
They did. They beat the Eagles 24-20.
No, really? 06.
Brett Favre.
06 was Pittsburgh and Seattle.
Okay, you're right.
Brett Favre, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, Drew Brees, Jake Plummer, Steve McNair, and Dante Culpepper. It's your top 10 quarterbacks in 2005. Now, hold on one second here. Top paid QB 1997. This will be fun.
Probably
that was wasn't that pre-cap?
Who would it probably be? Maybe Brett.
Brett Favre was the league's highest paid player in 1997.
Wasn't that pre salary cap?
Mm.
Well, let me say this, because I semi agree with what you're saying, Micah, but this is not like a socialist utopian NFL.
God, I
So
wish.
the thing that we must understand. So like you mentioned Tennessee. Henry, obviously he was the most valuable player on that team.
Yeah.
Just like on the Rams, Todd Gurley, the year they went to the Super Bowl, was by far the most valuable player on the team. That's true. But who is the most enduring? So if you just talk about importance, you also have to talk about which of those players has the longest career. So you can't just say we got to pay the best player the most money. You got to say what player will be the best for the longest, and that's typically the quarterback. But in addition to this, let me also say this, because if you talk about, say for instance, you talk about Matt Ryan like you talked about him, and then you look at the Falcons and their problems. Is it really that they paid Matt Ryan that much, or is it that they pay too many skilled players too much?
All right. To
And
me,
they have bad drafts.
it's not necessarily just the skill players. It's the total. We've invested in him, which means offensive line, receivers. We've given high draft picks, all for. But every
But
year,
that's
it's
the
like
team you're talking about, because you're saying
that's
it's
my
the team
point.
game.
You hurt the rest of the team building experience because you give so much of it's so big of a portion. And to me, there's a handful of quarterbacks that are exceptions to that rule. Like Pat Mahomes, to me, is an exception to that rule because he's so good that even if you lack talent around him, he's good enough where he's the X factor. He's the guy who can still take that team to the next level. It was like Aaron Rodgers for years where that Packers team wasn't that great talent-wise, but they could make it go deep in the playoffs every year just off his arm alone.
Well, let me say just real quick, though. I mean, I'll give Aaron that. But I think in terms of Matt Ryan, I think you have to appreciate the fact that, yeah, you say they spend money on the line and all this, but is he not still playing at MVP levels, with getting destroyed? Like the fact that he doesn't stand up straight. So if those investments that you're talking about really paid off, wouldn't he be able to lead us further than he does?
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a team sport. If we're not making the playoffs, what do his numbers matter? I mean, look, Jameis had led the league in passing yards, but what does it matter? Because they were 7-9.
You can't say that without mentioning the 30 interceptions.
But or let's look at the Cowboys, who was like, I think Dak Prescott was number 2 in passing yards. They finished 8-8. So
no, but that's it. The difference is that Matt Ryan is playing at an MVP level, but without all of the normal stuff that you would say going on with that. So if you look at Dak Prescott's completion percentage and also the number of throws he has and also his touchdown interception ratio, it's not going to be comparable. Same with Jameis.
Well, it's not as high.
So hold on. So like, how would you design an NFL team right now? But I want nobody interrupt. I just want to hear how Micah would build an NFL team in 2020. What would you focus on? Who would you pay?
I think partially the money to me is kind of hurting the pocket passers, the traditional pocket passers, because offensive linemen don't come at a premium. You can't just draft a guy and expect him to come in and be elite like maybe they used to could draft a guy and know exactly what you're going to get out of offensive lineman 9 times out of 10. You're not getting that same quality offensive lineman anymore because the style of play in college has changed. So I think, like, to me, I would go a more athletic quarterback, a strong a running back, a dual threat running back, kind of like a Clyde Hilaire, Edwards-Hilaire, I would go, you got to get you a solid number one guy, a solid slot receiver. And then as far as defense, I build the D-line. I get me some at least one or two good corners, and that's ultimate. And then linebackers, I get me some solid linebackers. I don't need necessarily, Ray Lewis, Hall of Fame type guys, but I need some solid guys who can make tackles and can cover a little bit. And I mean, ultimately, that's what I want.
So you're not going to pay these guys?
You want a top 5 defense, right? A dual threat running back, a decent receiving core, and a young, inexpensive dual threat quarterback.
Yeah.
So the Chicago Bears would like to have a word with you when they lost the NFC Championship game with the greatest defense in the last 6 or 7 years, with Khalil Mack, with Danny Trevathan, with all those guys. They were nasty on the defensive side of the ball, with a hellacious dual threat at running back, with a top 10 draft pick at quarterback who was cheap, right? And with a
really good receivers
core. Yeah.
Alshon Jeffrey's no joke.
Yeah. And they lost. Alshon was in. He was in.
Yeah, that's not the same Bears team.
The one from Jacksonville is who I'm thinking of that they got.
Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson. They lost to the Rams because Mitch Trubisky, while cheap, and a dual threat quarterback and a top 10 draft pick, and they spent all the money everywhere else, and they didn't bring in a big name free agent. They didn't bring in Colin Kaepernick. They lost to the Rams because Mitch Trubisky is a piece of shit as a quarterback. Mitch Trubisky sucks. He squandered one of the best defenses we've seen this decade, or the previous decade, excuse me, because it's 2020 now, because he's a shitty quarterback. And what did they have to do with Mitch Trubisky? Oh, man, they had to sign a veteran, Nick Foles, to come in and help him and give him some competition, because Mitch Trubisky, their cheap quarterback, sucked my nut. He was bad, dude. He was just bad. And who won the Super Bowl that year? Was it the Bears? I think were the highest ranked defense, and then it was Wade Phillips's LA Rams defense was the second highest ranked defense. Was it the second highest ranked defense with the dynamic playmaking wide receivers and the incredible MVP caliber running back in Todd Gurley and the cheap young quarterback who's also a dual threat in Jared Goff? Or was it Tom Brady?
It was
quarterbacks. Great. Yeah, quarterbacks win championships.
Well, hold on. But what did Brady do in that Super Bowl? The quarterback didn't win that championship. Their defense won that championship.
What did Jared Goff do in that Super Bowl? What did Todd Gurley do in the Super Bowl?
But
Ryan,
I said, the defense.
You're not arguing. Pull up Brady's stat line for that Super Bowl.
He threw for
Tom Brady went 21 of 35 for 262 yards, no tutties and an interception.
Against the number 2 ranked defense in the entire
And
NFL.
Jared Goff went 19 of 38 for 229, 0 tutties and an interception.
But Tom Brady had crucial plays putting him in position to score and close.
So Tom Brady threw for almost 300 yards against the number 2 ranked defense in the NFL that year, without the dynamic playmaking running back
them up with
Todd
Julian
Gurley.
Edelman.
With Julian Edelman at wide receiver. Quarterbacks win championships. It is not the Trent Dilfer era. You are not going to win a championship without a good quarterback. You're just not going to. So if you have a quarterback that is above average, I could sneeze on a draft class and pull out an above average wide receiver.
So is that going to win the championship?
I could walk outside in Atlanta, Georgia, and run into an above-average defensive lineman.
So with that question,
they need training, they need coaching. You can't Pat Mahomes, right? Pat Mahomes is a once-in-a-generation talent.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. if Pat Mahomes says that he wants to have 30% of the cap, do you give it to him? Who would you take? Who would you take instead of, because here's the deal. Matt Ryan is gonna get paid. He's gonna get paid because quarterbacks don't just grow on trees around here, especially good ones. So
obviously they are now.
Who? No, but they're not, man. Because the thing is that, like, who are the top paid quarterbacks right? Who are the top paid quarterbacks right now?
So let's go back to that class.
Russell Wilson. No, who's the top paid quarterbacks right now? Russ Wilson.
Yeah.
Goffey?
Jared Goff.
Yeah, Goff.
That guy sucks. Who's 3? Matt Ryan?
I think Wentz.
Wentz.
It's Russell, Ben Roethlisberger, A-Rod, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, and Carson.
That's your boy, though. That's your boy, Micah.
That's not my boy, but I think he takes a lot of flack from. I think he takes
for being bad.
He takes more credit for failure than just about any other quarterback in the league. Like,
just watch his fourth quarter performances across his career.
You like that?
Well, except against the Saints.
What you mean? One lucky touchdown pass?
Hey, that's all. As a Falcons
2 in a row.
fan,
That's all I care about. Yeah, I'm with Micah on this one. Who were the worst? Oh, bye, Ryan.
Uh-oh.
We are having technical difficulties. Who are the worst quarterbacks in the NFL last year?
Mr.
Oh my God, I made it.
Who's the dude? Why can't Baker Mayfield's second worst?
Baker.
He's pretty bad. Yeah.
The dude Sam Darnold.
Mono.
My man in Cincinnati.
Andy Dalton.
Whoever Pittsburgh had out there.
Mason Rudolph.
Minshew was sort of trash.
Minshew had some moments, but yeah.
So wait,
San Diego was trash.
What's the unifying theme for most of those bad quarterbacks?
They're new
and they're young, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're being forced into position to play without getting trained or coached or anything like that.
Well,
can I say this? I want to say just to your business model, Micah. I think in general, it sounds good, but it's not a good business model because it's a catch-22. Once a quarterback proves he can perform, you have to pay him. So the fact you're not just going to get, even if you, like you said, Dak, even if you get a guy who puts up good numbers but obviously doesn't have great impact, he's still going to garner more money because but let me say it's a catch-22. So you cannot build a business model where you continually replace your quarterback with draft picks because like 9 times out of 10 you're going to fail and you're going to end up with Mr. Trubisky or you're going to end up with Sam Darnold or you're going to end up with one of these guys that just can't play. And the thing is that your quarterback is going to go somewhere else and win a Super Bowl.
Really? So you think Dak will go somewhere else and win the Super Bowl?
Yes, I think he will.
I think if Dak Prescott had the right coaching staff and the right cast around him, Dak Prescott could win a Super Bowl.
But see, that's the key point. Coaching staff and cast. You can't have that great stuff when you pay God anything quarterbacks want, and that's the problem.
How much did Peyton Manning make the year that the Broncos beat the Panthers?
He had a pretty healthy deal, but it was short.
The lowest part of his cap in that contract. I think he was making like 15.
Yeah, it was not much. Hey, I got a question for you real quick. Oh, it was terrible in the Super Bowl. And that year?
That Super Bowl, it was he struggled that year. He was done.
But you were still paying him because he's Peyton Manning, and he still did Peyton Manning things, and he still won the Super Bowl.
But the defense in the run game won them that Super Bowl.
But you didn't pay the defense.
You paid
all those guys.
They paid Vaughn.
Von Miller was the only dude on that defense who wasn't on an initial contract. DeMarcus Ware was old and shot out, and
they paid him. They brought him in just to help out Von Miller.
Yeah, he had 2 sacks at Super Bowl.
You had Aqib Talib was getting paid. You had what's the other corner?
But how much? But how much were you paying them?
He was on a rookie contract. Most of those guys were on rookie contracts. I got a question for you, because all of this is, who cares about those stats? Because you have your outliers.
I do. Fuck you.
How many? What's the percentage in the last 10 years of MVPs in the Super Bowl that are quarterbacks? Just take a guess, each one of you. Marco.
The percentage of what?
Like
Super
of the last
Bowl
10
MVPs?
years. Yeah. How many Super Bowl MVPs out of the last 10 years were quarterbacks?
It wasn't Russ. They gave it to
8 out of 10.
Bruce Irvin.
Lionel? No, Malcolm Smith.
That's right. I'm going to say 80%. Yeah, 8 out of 10.
Micah?
I'd say 7.
Yeah, it's 8 out of 10.
Who are the two? It was
Smith
Russ
and Santonio Holmes, I believe. No, Von Miller and Malcolm Smith.
Santonio Holmes was last decade.
I'm trying to figure out how the fuck Malcolm Smith won the MVP for that Super Bowl.
2 pick sixes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
He's
Robert
still in that
Alford had
game.
a pick six.
Yeah, he probably would have been. Oh no, Grady Jarrett would have.
No, Matt Ryan. Stop it. Matt Ryan would have been MVP.
Well, nah,
he literally had the
I
best
don't know,
quarterback rating of any quarterback to ever
Devontae,
lead.
if Devontae didn't get benched in the second half, he might have
Wait.
won that one.
One second. Marco, say that again.
Matt Ryan had the best QB rating of any quarterback to ever lose in the Super Bowl.
Oh, like in history?
In history. He would have
Wait.
been the MVP.
Wait, so why did we lose the Super Bowl?
Let's
Shanahan.
No, why
let's
did
not get into Shanahan.
no? Okay, so we lost
Shanahan
because
happened.
of coaching, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how many of the players on the defensive side of the ball were we paying big time contracts to?
None of them. Did
Oh,
Trufant
no.
get broke off yet?
True fight, maybe.
No, he got
I
his
think
deal
it's
the
true.
next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
0 out of 11.
0 of them, right? Right. Grady Jarrett, what round was he drafted in?
5th.
Fifth.
The 5th round. Okay. And on the offensive side of the ball, who were we breaking off that year?
Matt,
Julio and Matt.
Julio.
Free was going to get
Free
his
didn't
deal
get
because
it.
he complained during the Super Bowl that he wasn't getting
Right.
paid.
I don't know.
Then
Jake
blew
didn't-
it.
I don't think Jake got his either.
No. So so what you're saying is that Matt Ryan was far and away the highest paid player on the roster.
Well, of course.
And performed
And-
the best.
It's
And he
that's what I'm-
hold on. So Matt Ryan was the highest paid player on the roster, probably one of the highest paid players in the NFL at that point, because there have been a few years where he keeps jumping people, right? He's probably in the top 5 NFL. And what was his stat line for that quarterback for that Super Bowl?
That Super Bowl is like 300 yards and like 2 touchdowns and two or 3 touchdowns in it.
And we lost
Interception.
because
Well, he didn't throw a pick. He fumbled though.
Yeah, it was a
Doesn't hurt. I don't think that hurts your quarterback.
right, but our center had a fractured ankle, and we lost our right tackle too. So my point is, Micah, that the only times the Falcons have competed for a championship were in 1998, which might as well not count, and when Matt Ryan was making the highest percentage of any player on the roster by far.
But that's almost every quarterback.
Right,
Every veteran, almost every veteran quarterback is going to have that pretty much.
so who has won the Super Bowl without being paid like a veteran quarterback in the last 12 years?
Russell Wilson, I think.
Yeah.
Russ, okay.
Pat Mahomes just did it.
Right, but those two are freaks, right? Like Russ should have gone.
That's the thing. You go outliers but you got to take like the fact that Brady's won 6 of the last like 15.
And
So-
Brady consistently gets paid.
Not 6 of
But
the last
not-
15. He
he's
won his
taking
first
less
20 years ago.
Than 90% of the quarterbacks in the league.
But it doesn't matter because he also has a GOAT coach. So everybody who's beaten Tom Brady in a Super Bowl
Eli
got
Well,
paid.
Eli,
Nick.
Nick.
Hey,
Foles.
Nick
was
Foles, yeah. But
getting
Nick
a
Foles
veteran
wasn't getting
contract.
paid. Nick Foles was a bust until then. Then he gets a
He had one good season.
contract in Jacksonville, and then Jacksonville winds up trading him to Chicago because it was like, it's not going to work here.
Nick Foles had like a 27-7 year before he won that Super Bowl.
He was 27-2 and wound up going to the Rams, and Jeff Fisher ruined him as a quarterback.
Exactly.
So when we look at the best quarterbacks of the last 20 years, Tom Brady's at the top, obviously. Aaron Rodgers is up there. Do we talk about the guys who won Super Bowls because of their defense? Do we remember those guys?
No.
You probably
Russ will
going to remember
he'll be on the list.
The last one at least.
I remember Peyton Manning being Peyton fucking Manning. I remember Peyton Manning
Super Bowls.
I remember Peyton Manning being probably the best quarterback in the NFL for quite a number of years. Eli got paid. But you
think about his defense. You don't think
Eli is the worst best quarterback,
dude.
Ever.
The thing is, we make jokes. We make jokes about Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
We make jokes because Trent Dilfer legitimately, here's the thing, Micah. You can either hit on the quarterback or you can hit on 85% of the team. That's it. You can either hit on the quarterback or hit on 85% of the rest of the team. So who's hit on that other 85%?
Here's
Ozzie Newsome.
Yeah, it's very rare.
It's a few, but no. But I think y'all are kind of
Wade Phillips
misconstruing what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying quarterbacks shouldn't be the highest paid on the team, but for every quarterback to make 30+ million just because they play the position quarterback.
But the numbers are up, so it's
the cap's going up, man.
It doesn't matter.
The percentage,
but it is because the percentage stays within the same range.
The percentage is basically the same, dude.
Like I said, Tannehill should have been around 25.
But that's the thing. Is
so he goes from 14% to 12.
You don't get to set the market on that, dude. Tannehill played in an AFC Championship game. If you don't pay the man, he's going to go somewhere else and get paid. Then you've got Marcus Mariota.
Okay, and
if you don't want to pay Matt Ryan $30 million a year, Matt Ryan's going to leave. Who's going to play quarterback for him, Micah?
Go somewhere else and look just like he did in Miami. So
he looked okay in Miami,
right? But if
he was okay,
Ryan Tannehill carried that team through quarterback issues to the playoffs and then played very well in the AFC Championship game, right?
Championship game.
He didn't.
You're talking about the Titans.
The Titans, right. So Tannehill. No. What would your fan base do if that quarterback left and went to San Diego and you said, "Nah, it's cool, dog. We're gonna draft
Jake Fromm."
You're going to say goodbye to 70.3% completion, 2,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 117 QBR. And you're like, nah, man, I'm good.
It depends on your plan to replace him.
You have to pay. The rest of that team is solid. You can't throw in a rookie and expect to get that same production. Who?
Name one.
Who?
Name one.
If Lawrence came out right now, I bet you he could do it.
Who?
Lawrence.
Yeah, but he didn't, Micah.
But how are you going to draft Trevor Lawrence if you were in the AFC Championship game the year
he's going top 3?
But
okay, so sacrifice the rest of your team for a quarterback is what you're saying.
Right.
You're saying the rest of the team isn't as important as the quarterback, is what you just said.
That's not.
That's trade exactly future draft picks for a quarterback.
You know what?
You want to trade up to the number 1 overall pick, or you want to tank a year because
you remember how much we had to give up to get Julio at number 4?
You don't want to. We got him at
26.
6.
Yeah. Oh no, Julio is 6.
6.
26.
Yes.
You don't want to pay. You don't want to pay Ryan Tannehill $30 million a year, but you want to tank after you play the AFC Championship game for the chance at drafting someone who might be a generational talent.
Or how about this?
Quarterback.
How about you go and get Cam for 18 or 19?
Cam is better than Ryan Tannehill. You're going to pay Cam Newton $20 million off of that last season that he had?
Potentially. Because in this situation, you have a running back and you don't have to have him do all the things that he's carry your team quite like he had to do in Carolina.
You're gonna save $10 million for a quarterback who might not have a shoulder. You're gonna save $10 million and get rid of your guy who had 170 QBR.
117.
And it'd be a
170.
1-year deal, so you're not really. That's not a solution.
So you want to take the most important piece of your team, which is the quarterback. You want to take the guy who ran your team to the AFC Championship game. You want to get rid of all that chemistry. You want to get rid of all of that institutional knowledge. You want to get rid of it because you don't think that Ryan Tannehill is worth $30 million, and you replace him with Cameron Newton.
Yeah.
For 1 year.
Game. Look, like I said, I can get a game manager. I don't.
Yo. Who's got one of the best front offices besides the Patriots of the last 20 years, right? It's the Ravens, right? It's Ozzie Newsome and the Ravens. Okay. You think Joe Flacco is a super elite quarterback?
No.
You think Joe Flacco that 1 year he was, but that was it.
You think Joe Flacco's worth all that money?
No.
How come you think Ozzie Newsome has a Super Bowl ring and you don't?
Because I'm not with an organization.
Well, probably because he kept paying Joe Flacco because he's like, there's nobody else. And then the year that they were like, there's somebody else, guess what they did?
They drafted another guy.
Right. But they waited until they were like, this guy. But the thing is that Joe Flacco had been on a decline for 3 years, and they still kept paying that dude because who else are you going to get to play quarterback, Micah?
Here's the thing. I have more confidence in quarterbacks coming out of college now than I ever have.
Just because there's a
Sam
spread.
Darnold is
outside of the Bears,
Sam Darnold is
Trubisky
awful.
Debacle.
Trubisky's bad. Goff is bad. Baker Mayfield is bad. Sam Darnold is bad.
But
Gardner Minshew is
Baker
bad.
was bad last year. Baker could bounce back and be like he was his rookie year.
Baker was bad for 50% of the time he's been in the NFL.
I just think I want to sort of.
Who are our rookie quarterbacks? Who was good? Who was a good rookie quarterback last year?
The little boy.
Murray?
Yeah, Murray was okay.
Yeah. Kyler was solid. Last year you had
the struggle is real.
Who were the good quarterbacks last year? I'm gonna broaden it. Who were the good quarterbacks last year?
A lot of them were second-year quarterbacks.
Who were the good quarterbacks last year?
It was Aaron,
Mahomes,
Lamar Jackson,
Mahomes, Lamar.
You had
Deshaun.
Yeah, I said Deshaun.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
He was good for half the year.
Okay, so let's just continue Lionel's argument. And we'll move Tannehill back a year. This just happened last year. Could you have done this, what they did, with Daniel Jones?
Mm-mm.
Ryan Finley?
Who?
Ryan Finley?
Exactly. Who?
No.
Kyler Murray?
No.
Kyler
Murray was
maybe. I'll give Kyler a maybe.
Kyler Murray is Stidham? You wouldn't have done it with Kyler because when you put pressure on him to throw the ball, he looked really bad.
Yeah,
and Kyler Murray was playing in an offense that was tailor-made for him with a coaching staff that was for him.
But they got a lot of pressure. Their offensive line was trash last year, but whatever.
Jared Stidham?
No.
Dwayne Haskins?
He wasn't actually as
Stop
bad.
it. No.
Stop it, Micah.
What quarterback did you watch? He was awful.
Not only was he bad, but he had attitude problems.
Weren't you just talking about how you can't count Jameis's passing yards because they were always they're so bad? Weren't you talking about how you can't count Dak's leading in passing yards because the Cowboys were just bad? That you just told me. You just told me that. No, you just told me that. You just told me that Dak Prescott is like number 2 in passing yards, but he sucks because they don't win. What was the Redskins? What was the Redskins? What was
4 or 5 games last?
2 and 14.
What was the Redskins? 2 and 14, and what was his stat line for that year? For the year on the 2 and 14 Washington Redskins.
58% completion percentage, 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions for a whopping 76.1 QBR.
How many starts was that?
Let's find out. He started because he got yanked because he was playing so bad.
Like 4 or 5 games.
9.
9. Damn, that's even worse.
Less than a touchdown a game.
So his quarterback percentage or his quarterback rating is in the 70s. He has a 1-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, but you could take that guy to the AFC Championship game on the Titans.
The reason teams couldn't load the box against Derrick Henry and put 8 or 9 in the box is because Tannehill could beat them.
Because he's competent.
And Tannehill's passing yards and record in Miami was not indicative of his talent because the Miami coaching staff is shit.
I always thought he was talented in Miami.
He's got a career of like 150 touchdowns and only like 60 interceptions. He's not a bad quarterback.
Micah is just mad that Ryan Tannehill is making more money this year than any of us will ever see in our entire lives, except for me when I hit the lottery next week. Micah, we understand where you're coming from. We just don't respect that opinion.
I do. I just say you can't argue the market.
But that's the problem. I think the problem is the market.
Well, next time you go buy a car, tell them that cars cost too much and you don't want to pay now what you're paying, and tell them you want to pay.
Micah, why?
You might be able to do that.
Micah, why do you try hard at your job?
I don't know. I actually don't know why. I really don't.
Ryan, why do you try hard at your job?
Because I want to keep it.
Okay. So if you do a really good job at your job, or like a better than average job at your job, right? And you're in there, you show up every day, you put the work in, things are going, not like perfectly, but they're going pretty well. And the most important thing is that you're consistently performing and your boss is making money, right? Because that's what really matters.
Hey, Mr. Boss Man, I'd like a raise, please.
Yeah, I'm not the perfect example for this.
How would you feel if your boss came up to you and was like, hey, Ryan, I know that yesterday we almost broke last year we almost broke all-time company records for revenue and profits, especially on your team. It looked really good. But we've decided that we want to pay someone else $10,000 less a year to do your job because, well, you might be really good at it, but we think that we can take that $10,000 and buy more binders. And we can have an extra intern.
One of those binders might be really good, but
I would lose my damn mind, Micah. I would lose my mind.
You would go somewhere else and prove that you could win there too.
Or be fine.
If you came to him and said, look, I understand that you want elite money, but what we're trying to do here is put as much talent around you as possible. So if you could take, let's say, 27 instead of 35, and maybe we can go out and get you that guard we need to get you.
What counts as elite money, dude?
Huh?
What counts as elite money?
When I'm talking about elite money, I'm talking about when you pretty much set the market. When any decent quarterback comes up, it's like we got to
remember who was the first quarterback to break $100 million for the contract? Was that
Michael?
Vic. It was Vic.
Okay. How long was that contract?
10 years.
Okay. How much was it per year?
So about 10 a year.
Okay. So let's say 10 years later, is that an expensive deal or a cheap deal?
Very cheap.
Okay. So when Matt Ryan signed his big record-breaking contract, his first one, we made him the highest paid player in the NFL, right? He just beat Aaron Rodgers, I think, right? We were paying him like 25, right? Right about 25.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is 25 a lot now? Like a lot?
It would be 25 would put you at
15?
9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th.
Okay. How many years has that been, man? It's been like what, 4 or 5 years?
Since
What's Jared Goff's per year right now?
like
33.5.
How long's his contract?
I think it's like 7 years, 6
Yeah.
or 7.
So by the end of that, you think 33.5 is going to be a lot?
No.
So basically what you're doing is you're making an investment. You're making an investment to keep a player who you think is important for your future. And just like the Falcons, when they paid Matt Ryan, when they broke Matt Ryan off, and they made him the highest paid player in NFL history for like 6 months or whatever it was, they were not very good immediately after that. But then they stocked up and they went to the fucking Super Bowl because they had an above average quarterback. They had an elite quarterback. The thing is that, like, you pay him.
Knocked that part in the draft too.
You pay him. Well, but the thing is that how come you had all those draft picks in those positions? Because we were fucking butt for 3 years. We were bad. And then you load up, and then you have an elite MVP winning quarterback, and you go to the Super Bowl. It's just because you're taking up a huge portion of the cap right now. The cap goes up every year. You have to make the investment, dude. Like, you have to make the investment, because otherwise you're just going to be, you're going to be signing fucking Luke McCown, Josh McCown, or Ryan Fitzpatrick, or whoever it is, and you're never going to win anything. And that is the end of that. We're going to take a break because I'm sick of talking about this. I fucking hate it. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Major League Baseball and systemic racism and some of our least favorite sports uniforms. See you in a second. Welcome back, everybody, to the Fish and Grits podcast. So now that we've all apologized to Micah for being mean to him while we were on recording just a second ago, thought we would do just a quick little rundown of stuff that's going on around the sports world. Sports ball! Ryan,
What up?
tell me about my formerly first favorite sport. Oh, did I tell you guys this? I quit baseball.
Yes, you did.
I just quit it, man. I just can't do it. So now my favorite sports are soccer as number one, just because there's so much of it. There's almost as much soccer as there is baseball. Like, you turn the TV on, there's soccer on. Like, even right now, the Germans are playing soccer, and they're like yelling like German at each other. It's fun. The Bundesliga. Soccer, and then I'm going to go with the association at number 2. I'm going to put the NBA as my second favorite sport.
Respectable.
I just think shooty hoops. I'm into that. Anyway, so baseball, my formerly favorite sport, now not even in the top 5. But there's been some movement there. So, Ryan, you want to give us a rundown really quick?
So first, I'll get into the new proposed deal in a little bit. But first, I think we have to address what's going on in baseball right now, which is the MLB draft. Now, typically, the draft for the MLB is ungodly long at 40 rounds, and no one really cares once it gets past round like 5. So what they did is they shortened the draft down to 5 rounds. They changed, the slot money. So if you get picked at number 1, you're still going to get the same amount this year as you would have gotten last year. You were supposed to get more this year, but because of how they're actually not playing and making money right now, they just kind of fell back. Another big thing is undrafted players can now only be signed for a maximum of $20,000 when they used to spend up to $125,000 on late round picks. So if you were drafted or went undrafted or went drafted in like the 36th round, you could have made $125,000 in 1 year. Now, if you don't get picked in those 5 rounds, those limited rounds, you can only make $20,000 this year.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it's brutal out there. That's what happens when you actually aren't playing the sport that you're supposed to be playing and making money off of it. What that really means is you're going to see a lot more players staying in college and actually committing to colleges this year because none of them want to take the risk of not making it in the top 5 rounds. So unless you're one of the 150 best players in baseball in the world, they're going to go to college this year. So you actually might see a hike in performance in the College World Series this year, which is nice. Leading into, though, the reason that they're not making money and because they haven't agreed upon a deal, the owners want more money and the players want more money, essentially. The players union have countered the deal that the owners put on their table, and what they, instead of the 114 game season, the owners countered. Instead of the 114 game season that the players wanted, the owners said they would give them a 76 game season instead of the sliding scale salary they proposed. And for those of you that weren't aware, if you were making more money, you were going to get hit harder with the deal that they had put on the table. So now what they're going to do is a prorated salary of 75% with no sliders. And this was the big sticking point here that the players were like, look, we're not doing this. This next item is they're no longer penalizing teams for signing players and forcing them to lose a draft pick. So say the Braves were, let's just use Brian McCann because he retired. But if we were to have lost him in free agency and the Royals would have picked him, we could have gained a compensatory pick for that. And the Royals would have lost a pick for that. So what that was doing, it was causing a lot of players just to sit on the market unsigned. So the players said, look, we're not doing that. You've got to get rid of it. So the owner said, all right, fine, we'll get rid of that. They've also agreed upon a postseason. A postseason would be 10 teams and a regular season and would end no later than October 31st. And for the teams that make the postseason, they're putting together a $200 million pool for those teams. So, you make it in, the further you go, the more money you make. The players union was supposed to get back to them Wednesday, but they have gone radio silent. And here we are. It's now Thursday, and no deal has been agreed upon. I think what the players are trying to do is push for a few more games because they want their money. It would make sense to cut – if 76, why not just cut the season in half, go 81, 82 technically, and do that. But here we are, still no baseball, still no agreement. And you have 2 major leagues already agreeing upon their deals to come back.
My vote is for 76 games, start on July 4th. That sounds very American.
We don't deserve baseball as a country. These greedy ass owners, man. It's just technical difficulties. Ryan is gone. Sorry, everybody's watching YouTube. Oh, there he is. He's eating.
When he mutes that picture comes up.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're cute. Yeah, man. Just these owners, there's nothing in the world that makes me more angry than when millionaires and billionaires complain about being poor, right? Or about not having enough money. Cram it, you son of a bitch. So I hope the players get everything they want. I hope they actually get paid their full salary. And I hope that they set the stage so that all contracts in sports become 100% guaranteed. And I hope that this makes it less likely that people will buy sports teams as an investment, instead buy them to run a sports team.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at on that one. Sort of like how you used to own part of your local soccer club in England. Like how Packers are like fan owned.
What, through taxes or something?
Yeah, you would just buy a share.
Yeah.
And anybody that lives in the city of Lambeau, Marco, owns a part of the Packers.
But they own a part of the Packers. I'm doing
right. They can't cash in on that
for the podcast now. But Arsenal, they used to sell shares, and then the Premier League started making a bunch of money. Anyway, fuck the owners. I hope the players get everything they want.
I think there's got to be some give and take on both sides, though. I mean, I don't think they should get 100% of their salary for not playing 100% of the season.
Surely not.
I'm on
There's a lot of willful selfishness going on, and I don't even think they're really genuinely negotiating. I think they're just sort of like throwing crazy things out there to just keep it going along, and
They're posturing.
they're posturing, exactly.
bad faith. Trevor Bauer is a good follow on Twitter if you want to see the player side of this. He's also just super interesting in general. All right. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. An interesting thing happened to me the other day. I was on Twitter and I saw someone got mad at Tom Morello, the guitarist for Rage Against the Machine. Someone tweeted at him and said, now that you're all political, you're ruining your fan base. I won't listen to you anymore now that you're political.
Now that he's political?
Key. Yeah, that's the key thing, right?
So like, what did they think Rage Against the Machine was about?
They just really hated robots.
The machine they're raging against is the microwave. And then Tom Morello also had a funny one where he was like, it doesn't take someone to be an honors graduate from Harvard in political science to tell you that this is incorrect. But thankfully, I am an honors graduate in political science from Harvard, and you are incorrect. It was just like, I just thought that was funny. All right, so last week we talked about the social upheaval that we've had going on in our country and our city. And me personally, we've talked about how I'm just like spamming my Facebook and Instagram feeds right now with like, look, cops are killing people and it's not okay. And like, look, people are racist and it's not okay. And I've gotten a couple of different reactions. One reaction came from my old chef. I'm going to call you out, Clinton Pritchard, who is my chef at Marlowe's. He commented, I'm just going to read it. He commented on an Instagram post. So the Instagram post that I had out today, where are you? Here we go. It said, Donald Trump is going to resume his campaign stops on Juneteenth in Tulsa. So he's picking the day that we celebrate the emancipation of African Americans in this country. He's going to the site of the most heinous massacre of Black Americans.
Black Wall Street.
Yeah, in history, which I didn't know about till I watched Watchmen. So shout out to Watchmen on HBO for cueing me into that. I was like, what? And then I read about it. And I was like,
how long ago did you find about that?
Like a year ago-ish.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, but once again, I'm Caucasian and they don't teach this kind of stuff. So, but shout out to HBO for helping me get my woke on. I had a buddy who liked the movie, right? He lives in the woods in Pennsylvania, and he was like, "Man, should I watch this Watchmen show?" And I was like, "No, you won't like it." So why not? I was like, "You won't like it." Because he likes the Zack Snyder Watchmen where it's just like punching people and killing people and it's cool. And this is instead like an examination of what it means to be human and different. And I did not see where Dr. Manhattan was what's his name.
Spoiler alert.
Whatever, dude. Pay for HBO and watch it, you son of a bitch. Anyway, so I posted this thing, and the caption on this, so what I've been doing is for a lot of articles, I'll post a full article on Facebook. I take a screenshot for Instagram, right? So I posted this article, and my caption on it was, is he monumentally stupid, Donald Trump, incredibly racist, or both? And the answer is both, obviously. But so Clint came in and said, I don't know who is stupid. This is a comment on my Instagram post. Okay. I don't know who is stupid. You or your society. Keep your left-wing comments to yourself. Fucking idiot. And please tell me, when is Juneteenth? You are perpetuating the hate in the world. Shut the fuck up, Lionel. So I responded because I don't think he knew that Juneteenth was a thing. I replied with, Juneteenth is the 19th of June. And, I'm not spreading hate. if I'm sort of showing you, I'm trying to help everybody realize what is going on in the world, right? Like, not everybody's as tuned into this stuff. And like, I've had people come on my Facebook, and you can see this like transition over the last few weeks where like at the beginning, they're like, don't talk bad about the police. And now they're like, well, yep, cops suck in general. You know what I mean? Like you're seeing a transition. I had somebody today come in and just like, wow, I never really thought about racism until recently. And now I wish that I had, because there were so many places that I could have helped, you know? But then you get guys like this who are like, you're spreading the hate. So I told him when Juneteenth was, and I said that if anything that I post offends him, he is more than welcome to just not follow me. And then I replied underneath that, and I said, also, you calling me dumb is the funniest shit I have ever heard. Thanks for the laugh, buddy. And so like everybody hopped on it. Like Jessica, my wife Jessica, was like, what do you mean? Like, how are you going to yell at somebody for posting something on their own? It's like, I don't think Clint understands how Instagram works, right? Like, he decides what he sees, you know?
Yeah.
The algorithm gives him things, or he picks who he follows. So like, if you don't want to see the shit I post, don't follow me.
Follow.
Right? So anyway, he was being kind of mean to people. So you should go check me out. Check me out on Instagram. It's at Mr_McNamerica. Go check out the post. I had a post where I blocked him, and I did it in a way that was inspired by Shea Serrano, who's an author that I really, really like. Anytime someone comes on, so Shea's a basketball writer for The Ringer. And anytime someone comes on his Twitter, it's just like, he regularly posts like, fuck Donald Trump and fuck you. And people just be like, you can't say that. He'll just like do screenshots of him blocking people. And then the last picture is him giving them the finger. So I like stole that. Anyway, so, you know, I as an upper middle class, college educated white man, have been dealing with some blowback from my anger over these social justice issues. I assume, gentlemen, that you have also been receiving some flack over the past week or so.
No, not really.
Not really.
I don't know if black people have been receiving blowback for stating what's so obvious. But
I received a lot of messages that have made me sad. Like, black people are messaging me going and saying things like, thank you for being a decent human being. I'm like, that really sucks that you have to say that to me.
Thank you for believing that I should have rights.
Right. Thank you for believing that this is wrong.
Honestly, what I've seen more than anything in the past few weeks is how little, you know, a lot of white America knows about the actual history of the country and like the treatment of people of color. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
your
just
video is
disappeared.
going
Yeah,
funny.
my camera just turned off. But like the fact that you said you just found out about Black Wall Street last year watching The Watchmen. It's
You
like,
know how I learned about Juneteenth?
Yeah.
The show Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah, because they went to this like Juneteenth party.
Yeah.
And it was like the white guy who was like super into it, like way too into it. That was the whole joke of the episode. He's like dressed in like the kente cloths, basically.
Oh, I
you know what
did
mean?
actually see that episode.
Yeah, that's how I learned what Juneteenth was.
Yeah.
How come I'm missing all this stuff? I gotta learn it from television.
Well, you got Google, deep Google searches.
The crazy
You don't have enough black friends.
crazy thing to me is that like all of the history books, all the years of school we went to, and it just shows how kind of whitewashed everything is.
Not kind of, Micah. Completely whitewashed.
Yeah, and because it's like, you know, even slavery is kind of glossed over. And I think I heard a story a couple years ago that somebody was petitioning to try to take slavery out of the history books. Like yo, how can you take something that over 200 years of our history, just take it out, erase it from the history books? Like, yo, it didn't happen.
I don't think they should
uncomfortable.
take slavery out of the yearbooks. I mean, out of the history books. I think they should add more slavery so it provides the context that not only black people were slaves.
It
know,
should be
because
a
I think
whole year.
when you just teach that Black people are slaves and then that's our only history, it's not
Yeah.
even really Black History Month. It's like Black Enslaved History Month. And so people don't really get the full context of how great we can and could be. You know,
Yeah.
they just see it from this frame of the oppressed victim. And I think history needs to be more, you know, a more holistic approach. Just like you were saying, they don't teach things like something that's like common knowledge. For instance, like MLK was assassinated by the CIA. They won his family won a lawsuit. They don't teach that in school because it's just not, it's not relevant to their narrative, you know, or to the narrative of this country, which I mean was and is a white ruled society, you know. So they sort of write it's hard to say y'all, all y'all guys write the history, and you know, and
Come
it's
get your
up to us
cousin.
to do deep dive searches. I mean, I haven't known about Black Wall Street forever, but I knew about it since at least like 2006, maybe 2007. And
Well, you're a Black Wall Street hipster, and I'm sorry I let you down. You know, I just think that so I think we're on the right track, right? Like we've got a generation of parents now, as far as like me and Ryan, right? Who we're growing up with access to all this information that you had, Marco, right? Like we can find out all of this stuff outside of the textbooks. Like our parents couldn't necessarily have done that because they didn't have Google, man, you know? And like my mom still doesn't know
Our
how to
parents
Google.
lived it though.
Right, but they still like, how would they know about the Tulsa race riot if they grew up in Minneapolis?
True.
You know,
they wouldn't.
whereas now, like we've got, you know, at least for me and Jess, we try really hard to like. So we told Jackson the other day. I had the news pulled up. I don't know if I told you guys this. I had the news pulled up when the protesters were breaking into the CNN Center, and Jackson was asking, he's like, "What's happening? What's happening?" You know, we told him sort of what was going on. And he was like, we told him about the cops. He was like, why would they do that? Why wouldn't they just listen to him and not kill him? And he was like shocked. And then like we've got the National African American History Museum right up at the Smithsonian, you know, so like, you know, Dr. King said, was it oh God, I can't believe I'm about to be that white person who quotes Martin Luther King. You know, but the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice, right? Like we just can't give up. So if you're white and you like the Confederate flag and you want to get really fucking angry, follow me on Instagram at Mr. McNamerica. I'm not gonna let you on my Facebook. That's just private. But if you don't want to get mad, you should also follow me. Just follow me or follow us at Fish and Grits Pod on Instagram and
Put
Twitter.
all of our handles on our page.
Yeah, come on. All right. So speaking of social justice issues, Drew Brees, who is the loser of the week last week, you may remember, for saying some fucking baloney about how when you kneel during the flag, you hurt the military's feelings, right?
Hey, Lionel, did it hurt your feelings when that happened?
As a infantry veteran of the war in Iraq, I can say, fuck off, Drew Brees. My feelings ain't hurt.
My feelings are fine.
You know, we talked a little bit about how like all those guys who like wear American flag tank tops sit during the national anthem because they're too fat to stand up. Well, Drew Brees apologized twice. The first time he apologized, he basically said, "I'm sorry if your feelings were hurt," which wasn't an apology at all. But the second one, y'all, okay, so I got two things for you. The first part is his second apology, which was posted to Instagram under a literal stock image. If you Google like black and white hand clasp, it's just like the third image that you could see. It's a stock photo of like a black hand and a white hand holding each other, like, yeah, you know, like over the top, you know what I mean?
Solidarity.
Or Rocky, right? Where they were like, you know what I mean? Like it's the meme, you know what I'm saying? His apology says, I would like to apologize to my friends, teammates, the city of New Orleans, the Black community, NFL community, anyone I hurt with my comments. In speaking with some of you, it breaks my heart to know the pain that I have caused. An attempt to talk about respect, unity, and solidarity centered around the American flag and the national anthem. Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. I stand with the Black community in the fight against systemic racial injustice and police brutality and support the creation of real policy change that will make a difference. I condemn the years of oppression that have taken place throughout our Black communities and still exist today. I acknowledge that we as Americans, including myself, have not done enough to fight for that. I recognize that I'm part of the solution and can be a leader for the Black community in this movement. I've never known what it's like to be a Black man or raise a Black child in America, but I work every day to put myself in their shoes. Yada, yada, yada. I'm sorry. And he also said it's not about the flag, right? So Drew Brees got by the NFL PR department, right? But the better part, yeah, because, you know, they put out that, like, you know, Black Lives Matter videos, like, at the same time, and they're just like, Drew, what the fuck? So I don't buy this apology at all. I don't know about you guys, but, like, he was like, I just talked to my teammates about what it's like being Black. Motherfucker, how long have you been in the league?
Like 16 years.
You just now start talking to your teammates about what it's like being Black? I talk to people I meet on the bus about that. I'm like, hey, what's it like being Black? You know, like, I just want to know.
And he plays a position where there's an entire controversy about being Black. Like, how can you be that unaware?
If Drew Brees was Black, he would be a running back. Now, the best part, though, is his wife posted an apology, Brittany.
Oh, God.
So this makes me laugh. I'm pulling this from Fox News because, you know, this is the only place you're going to find this shit. She posted this apology on the Brees Foundation website. Hold on. I write this with tears in my... Okay, so it started with "We are the problem" in all caps. Okay. I write this with tears in my eyes, and I hope you all hear our hearts. I've read these quotes in scripture 1,000 times, and every time I read it and the words sink into my heart, I think, yes, this is what it's all about. Only until the last few days, until we experienced the death threats, that we experienced the hate, did I realize that these words were speaking directly to us. How could anyone who knows us or has had interactions with us think that Drew or I have a racist bone in our body? But that's the whole point. Somehow we as white America, we can feel good about not being racist, feel good about loving one another as God loves us. We can feel good about educating our children about the horrors of slavery and history. We can read books to our children about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Hank Aaron, Barack Obama, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman. It feels like she's just listing Black people that she can think of. You know what I mean? She threw Hank Aaron in there. She's like, who else is Black? That is the problem. I don't agree with disrespecting the flag. Anyway, so did you catch the part where she was like, I didn't know what it was like to be Black until people started threatening me online?
Yeah, that's what I caught my ear. It's like, wait, is that what being Black is only about? Micah? Marco?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Man,
you figured it out.
Now I know what it's like to have a system racially rigged against me because people got mad at me online. And I like fried chicken, so I'm in on it
the whole time.
God, Brittany Brees, you fucking suck. You both suck. I hope the whole New Orleans Saints organization falls into a pit. If there's a way that both them and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could just all of a sudden vanish, like get raptured, you know, like during the season, and everyone's like, oh no, what happened to them? I would be fine. I would be fine with that. So what are some other ways that you have been embarrassed by athletes for how they're handling this? Ryan, I know that. Do you want to talk about Fromm?
I mean, I'll leave
Micah,
Micah. Yeah.
Micah's the Georgia boy. Micah, tell us a little bit about Jacob Fromm.
As a diehard Georgia fan, I've never been this happy that a player no longer plays for the school than Jake Fromm. It's like he's gone, and it's like, yes.
That was before he said anything racist.
Somebody else's problem now.
The funny thing was now there were some. He wasn't terrible like Joe Cox, but it was like, oh man, we dodged a bullet. He could have stayed one more year.
So just anybody who doesn't know, some screenshots popped up within the last like week or so. Jake Fromm was talking to some girl that from some sorority that he knew, and she asked him about guns, and he's like, "Yeah, I love guns, man. You know, I just wish that I could buy a silencer. You know what I mean?
What
They
a
should
Mac
make
Daddy conversation topic that is. Like this guy.
They could. Well, she was baiting him into it because he had said it before. Like you could tell. He was like, yeah, man, they should make it super expensive so only like elite white people could buy it. And then like Fromm's girlfriend was like, you can't post that online. He's about to lose his job. The Buffalo Bills, which is like the
You're
whitest.
never starting.
Yeah.
You're
Anyway,
not gonna beat Josh Allen.
No. Jess and I both agree that when we look at Jake Fromm, we both are like, yeah, he's probably a little racist. You just look at him and you're like, he's like, you know what I like doing in my spare time? I like going out turkey hunting and fishing.
I mean, he's from Warner Robins, so
He's
The
a
Houston,
You've-
what's it called? Houston County or something?
Houston County. You've used the hard R at the end, haven't you, buddy? Kirby
I can
too.
tell.
But I feel like Kirby just legitimately doesn't understand. Like he only knows two things, and that's hitting and running. That's it.
What about winning?
he knows a little about that, except when it counts.
Yeah.
How did Buffalo end up with two racist quarterbacks?
Oh, wow.
Well, because Sean McDermott, you remember Sean McDermott went up there and had Tyrod, right? And started Nathan Peterman, who had like 3 picks on 3 throws because he thought because he's racist. I'm telling you.
it was 0 for 5 with 5 picks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean McDermott had Tyrod Taylor and instead acted like an asshole so that he could draft Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that isn't the most Chip Kelly ass racist ass chasing people out of town bullshit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You guys got anybody else you want to talk about who's
Yeah, I'm going to go with
racist?
Alexander Katai, who was a recently signed wingman or winger for the LA Galaxy. Now, it wasn't so much him, but it was his wife. And if you married someone that has these views, you probably share those views as
This
well.
is a Micah Grimes situation.
Yeah. Oh, God. I'm sorry, Brent. If you ever listen to this, I'm really sorry that you have to lead that life. I know she's holding you captive.
He likes it.
Blink twice.
Blink twice.
Help.
You're in trouble.
Remember that time that Brent Grimes, all like 5'8" of him, jumped over Megatron?
I do. Brent
Oh
could
my
jump
God.
out the building.
That's an athlete right there.
Yeah.
That was an athlete. And then like you start seeing his wife's like Twitter posts and you're like, oh nah. You could leave.
Got to go.
Anyway, Katai.
Yeah, Katai's wife. So she made a string of Instagram story posts when they were protesting in Serbia. People are out protesting police brutality and, making signs and doing that, things that people have been protesting here. She captioned one of her photos, calling them disgusting cattle, and then urged the police to, quote, kill the shits, and then topped it all off with a meme mocking George Floyd. So shortly thereafter, after this caught fire, the LA Galaxy cut his ass, and he's now jobless, which means she's jobless. Good job.
Here's my thing. All right, listen. People make mistakes, right? I totally get it. And people can change. I totally get it. But like, how do you learn from your mistakes? It's because of the consequences. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, if people haul off and say some racist shit on the internet, let's fucking fire them so that less people say racist shit on the internet. So there's less racist shit out there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if it's going to change how they feel. They might get even more racist.
Yeah,
what I care about,
matter.
right. I want to get back to the place where people come out. Like if someone says something racist, they're embarrassed of it. You know, I want to get back to that place. I want to get back to the place where people are scared to be racist because they have less power if they can't express themselves. And so fucking fire them all. I don't care. Take their dogs.
That'll make them real mad.
Yo, so how about this CrossFit guy too, right?
Yeah.
Like the CEO of CrossFit who's like nuts.
I mean, to start something called CrossFit, which is CrossFit, if none of y'all ever done CrossFit, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's a cult and I love it. But I hate this guy. And then the only other person I've been really disappointed with recently is a crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube from a gang called Young African American Men with Attitude. Can't say it. He's been posting a lot of like QAnon stuff.
Yeah.
And like Jewish conspiracy theories.
Oh, he's been
Like,
posting that stuff?
Yeah,
Like
a ton of it.
On his
he's
page?
like, yeah, like he has gone full on anti-Semite. Like Jews created the coronavirus to kill blacks.
A lot of that QAnon stuff is like slick pro-Trump.
It's not slick
Right.
pro-Trump.
It's
He's
truly
their
pro-Trump.
god.
It's
like they'll glaze over some pedo shit and then completely ignore the Trump pedo shit. Be like, oh, the liberal media is trying to. It's like, wait a minute, they all are.
When Anonymous exposed Trump with what's the pedo god's name? The island.
Epstein.
Yeah, Epstein. When
Jeffrey
those
Bitch
documents were released. So I followed one of their Instagrams just to keep tabs on them because I didn't know what it was at first. I was like, what is this crazy shit? So I was like, oh, this is where the crazy people hang out. So I was like, let me follow this just to keep tabs on these people. And I tell your sister these things, Marco, and she really enjoys them. But so when that was released and Anonymous posted all that, their excuse was, oh, you know what? The left has infiltrated Anonymous years ago. Look, they even had a deal with Netflix. And, you know, Netflix is one of the biggest pedo rings out there. And I was like, that's convenient.
You still watch Stranger Things, though, don't you?
Right. I bet all of you have Netflix accounts.
But let's not talk too much about pedo shit before we come in. Someone comes in and kills us all.
Hillary. I know.
All I know is that, like, we have Donald Trump on tape saying that Jeffrey Epstein's a good guy and he likes his girls kind of young.
Yeah.
And, like...
And talking about he has sex in common with his daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But...
Yikes.
But he is secretly... You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it.
He's a
Anyway,
crusader.
CrossFit guy, man. What a fucking wacko, right?
Yeah.
But Ice Cube, listen. You
Chill.
and Ice-T, right? You and Ice-T, the two ices, right? You guys need to help lead this movement. Ice-T has been great on social media, just calling people out and like yelling at them, and like people are like, but you live in a mansion, Ice-T. He's just like, motherfucker, I will still kill you. You know, like Ice-T does not. He's like, you play a cop on TV. He's like, bitch, that's my job. But Ice Cube has gone off the deep end, and so somebody needs to get my friend. Yep, there you go.
Oh,
so if you're watching the YouTube video, it's getting pretty.
Oh no, what are you doing? What are you doing, Ryan? Oh, you're going to Ice Cube's post.
This is all of Ice Cube's posts.
I just don't understand how he could, be anti-Semitic when he's like such a mainstay in Hollywood. Like, what is is he trying not to get movies anymore? I don't understand.
Yeah,
They paid him
he
so
just
much.
figured out what QAnon is, and I don't think he's realized that QAnon is a Trump thing. Now, I do want to give credit where credit is due. Right before we go to our next segment, Kanye West, who everyone should be screaming at right now because he normalized Trump and he's talking about how slavery is a choice and everything like that, and now we're in the middle of an uprising over police brutality and systemic racism. Kanye's been donating millions of dollars to charities and civil liberties organizations, and he marched in a Black Lives Matter march. I think it was Los Angeles? Chicago, yeah. So it looks like Ye might be getting his shit together, which I appreciate.
Don't glaze
because-
over the fact that he started that college fund for George Floyd's daughter as well.
Mhm.
And I think what the new story is that he was going subterfuge. he was like playing like a fake Trump supporter just so he could free some black people from jail. That's what they're trying to say. But I think that's like a spin on the end.
Thanks,
Again,
Kanye. Very
convenient.
cool.
Yeah.
I think Kanye, he's got like his bipolar disorder and stuff like that. And I think he's been enabled his whole life, especially since he's been with Kim, to just be fucking nuts because Kim Kardashian's in the any publicity's good publicity camp. But like, I'm begging again. I've just begged Ice Cube, and I'm going to speak directly to you, Mr. West. You're my all-time favorite hip hop artists, not necessarily as a lyricist, but as a producer for sure. I think that some of your albums have been game changers. And two things. Number one, stop with the Trump shit. Number two, release Yandi. Nobody fucking likes that gospel album you just put out. Jesus is King, and we know that. And I have the t-shirt, but the album sucks, my bro. That's it. All right.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Next segment, soccer. Major League Soccer is coming back. Did you guys know that?
Yep.
It'll be one of the first major American sports to return. They'll be returning with a tournament called the MLS Is Back Cup. It's going to be in Disneyland or Disney World because, fuck me. We've got a group stage, which will count towards regular season standings and points. You've got one group of 6, 2 groups of 4 in the East, and 3 groups of 4 in the West. Orlando is a number 1 seed because they're the host. So it'll be great when they lose as the number 1 seed.
To a 6 seed.
Yeah. Atlanta is the 2 seed in their group.
Mm-hmm.
We play in Group E, which includes the Red Bulls and I think some scrubs. I think it's the Red Bulls and some scrubs. Oh, no, sorry. We also have Columbus.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting.
We had a big loss to them that one year, right?
Yeah, but they've had a bunch of turnover. Red Bulls should be. Oh, we have to play Darlington.
Oh, Nag Bay.
Oh, Nag Bay. Atlanta driver. Anyway, so the top teams in each group plus the 4 highest performing the 4 3 seeds with the highest number of points will move on to the elimination round. Then you'll play a single elimination all the way to the championship. The champion gets a CONCACAF Champions League berth, prize money, and a charitable donation, and a trophy. I can't wait for people in Orlando to say it's not a real trophy once we win it. What?
What are you pointing at?
Can y'all not see it? The Atlanta United sticker
It's
right
on
there.
the wrong side, brother.
Yeah, other side, bro.
Yeah, it's behind you.
No, it's not.
Is it? Oh, I can't see
literally
it.
right
Oh,
there.
yeah,
I
we
see
can't see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're listening, Ryan's just pointing at his wall behind him. Watch the YouTube version. You get to see us. We're beautiful. So that sounds pretty cool. What do you guys think about that? Are you excited about this? I'm going to watch all of it because I'm
so excited.
starved.
It's
We need to do a
sports,
watch
man.
party because, I don't care if y'all come over. I know you've all quarantined, and everyone but Lionel's been over here. But I just want to watch sports with y'all again.
Oh,
Ryan.
that sounds so genuine. That was so. I gotta clap.
So the tournament's going to run into August. And then Don Garber says that we're going to have some form of a regular season after that. I'm going to make a prediction. Now, I want you guys to remember some of these predictions, okay? Because remember, I have a creepy history of being right with some of this stuff. So just remember this.
Just like your MARTA trains.
Yeah. I'm going to say they don't do a regular season because we have a second wave of coronavirus in August. And they have to crown the champion of the tournament, the MLS champion. And that will be your Atlanta United, who will then get 2 trophies for the price of 1. And we can do this to Orlando.
I'd rather you be dead wrong so I can have college football, because if we have a second wave in August, that means no college.
Football's not stopping, bro, no matter what.
It ain't stopping.
We ain't scared of no goddamn coronas.
I don't care if half my team has coronavirus. They can get out there and run it out.
The fun part is that those
Rub some
athletes
dirt on it.
they aren't paid.
As long as Rudy Gobert isn't there, and we're all right.
Hey, speaking of college football and coronavirus, one Florida State player has tested positive.
What position was he?
They didn't tell us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, if he's quarterback, you can just get rid of him and play the next.
No. I hope it's quarterback. No, sorry,
Yeah,
James Blackman. I don't mean that. Sorry, James Blackman. I don't mean that. But I think there's better talent behind you.
So you notice that I said that one of the first major American sports leagues was MLS Is Coming Back. The National Women's Soccer League is actually coming back before them, which we sort of talked about. The NWSL, they've got their tournament that's coming up. They've got like a huge talent pool to draw from. The disrespect is disgusting. Like, put some respect on these ladies' names.
Respect on.
I bet if you took the women's national team, they could probably beat the men's national team right now in a scrimmage because the men's national team is garbage. And they would probably score 9 on Orlando. Oh, fuck you, Orlando. You know what? I changed my mind. I don't know if I want to watch this tournament, MLS tournament, because Joseph's not back. And
I was about to ask that.
Unless they start Pity up top.
I was about to say Pity has a.
Well, we've got Rossetto should be 100% healthy now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that next.
Should be 100% healthy.
Let's do that next week. Let's do a deep dive into the state of the Atlanta United roster, and let's sort of talk about leading up to this tournament, what they look like, because it's coming up pretty quick. But
June 15th?
July.
July. It's July.
Let's assign Micah the back line.
I still think it would be fun if we made Carlos come in and tried to get him to explain hockey to us. But he won't do it because he's a chicken. Micah, you can take that day off if you want. But I think that'd be fun. All right. Anyway, so NWSL. The reason I bring them up is because some of their uniforms are just like a straight drip fest. Like it's gross how good some of these kits are. So all right, let me pull this up really quick on the YouTube version. Chicago Red Stars. So the Red Stars, which is the women's team from the city of Chicago, Chi-Town, right? Let me show you guys these kits. Here we go, share screen.
Which one are we looking at?
Ryan, enable my share screen, bro. You want me to just send you the link? All right.
Mm-hmm.
We're so good.
Oh, hold on. No. There we go.
Oh, got it. Okay. Look at this, man.
Ooh.
So
hey,
it is the city of Chicago's flag, which is an iconic flag, right? But the blue stripes on the top and the bottom are names of neighborhoods in the city of Chicago.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Oh, that's nice.
That's fire.
Right? And on the back right here, on the back tail, it's the skyline with the same cutout,
that's pretty sick.
Right? Okay. Red Stars away.
Now I understand that that Chicago Bulls jersey that has that color scheme. I didn't realize that was the Chicago flag.
The city of Chicago's flag. And then this is their this is the other one, which is like, isn't that beautiful?
Is that the transit system or is that the highways? What is that?
It's the L train pattern, which is the train.
Yeah.
And then they have the same skyline on the back in the train system. But probably the best of all of these belongs to the Portland Thorns.
with the rose.
with the roses. So if you're watching this on, or if you're just listening, it's a beautiful, what the
It's like a black jersey with a red trim on the sides, and then it has some outlines of gray roses throughout the body with red lettering on the front. And
isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
I
might like Chicago's better.
Don't even really look like a jersey though.
Right,
well,
but that's sort of
looks like a jersey. But
there's some. What was that?
It's alternative. It's definitely alternative.
Like it kind of reminds me of like them old like Affliction T-shirts.
So
this makes me want to throw up.
Forward Madison, who plays in the USL Championship, this is their home kit.
Does that say Dairyland?
Dairyland. It's pink like tiger stripes. I think this is soccer uniforms are awesome because they have to change them like every year or two, like contractually. So they just get nuts. They get absolutely nuts with them. So I love this.
I don't even know what that reminds me of. I just can't. I can't
makes you want to throw up. So there is a downside to this. Okay. So in the Premier League, your kits change every year. MLS, you can only change one kit per year and it has to alternate, right? So like this year we came out with the King kit for the away kit. And then last year we did the Star and Stripes with the new red and black. In the Premier League, you change all of your kits every year. So you change your home kit, your away kit, and your third kit, right? Arsenal signed a deal with Adidas last year, and Adidas put out some pretty classic uniforms. They put out just like the classic red and white home kit. They put out an updated version of the Bruised Banana kit, which is one of the most iconic football kits of the last 30 years. Which was the last time that they did Adidas. And then they had a black and blue kit, which I've got for the alternate, which I've actually got. I've got that jersey. I like it a lot. So next year, let me see if I can find this.
NASCAR.
Yeah. Next year's home jersey is, I think I'm on board with that. So
is that the one?
Yeah, it's this one. So you've got kind of like these triangles going on the red, right? The sleeves are kind of classic with they've got some banding around them. I think that looks pretty dope.
With the Adidas stripe down the sides.
Yeah, I'm in on that.
Yeah,
I'm into that.
I
want to show you the away kit, just really quick.
Ooh,
it looks like a crime scene.
It does.
That's so dope, though. That's what I wanted when we were doing that tie dye. I feel like a white shirt with just some red.
That would be dope.
It's like tie dye. This is one of the ugliest jerseys I have ever seen.
That's what I like. That
I like it.
Oh, it's trash. It's horrible. Why? If they had done just a white kit with the black detailing and the maroon shorts, that would have been fantastic. Classic look.
This with black shorts would be dope.
But it looks like either you did a shitty job tie-dyeing or you had a nosebleed while you're running. It looks like I don't understand. These aren't even half as bad as some of the Nike kits from the last year. So this is going to actually let me stop share. This is going to lead into our lightning round question. What is the worst sports uniform you have ever seen? Micah.
University of Maryland, when they went to that fatigue scheme, their Under Armour fatigue.
Should we pull these up?
Huh?
Should we pull these up while we're talking about them?
Oh.
Let me see if I can find this.
I got you.
Oh, Dollar's got it. All right.
Dude, it was just wow.
Good old Terps. Looking like freaking time. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
They were so bad.
Wow.
Oh,
that was
these.
all the time. That wasn't sometime thing.
No, that was their uniforms.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
And I'm like, yo, Under Armour, y'all, y'all should lose all your sales just for making that uniform right there. That was horrible.
To be
Nothing's
fair,
ever made me value symmetry more than this.
The Maryland flag is trash. So I want to apologize for that. All right, Marco, what's your least favorite sports uniform of all time?
There's a lot, there's a lot of contrasting colors, but I gotta go with the that Utah Jazz jersey where it was like orange, red, yellow. I guess it's supposed to look like a sun. That one to me.
This is kind of recent, right?
Yeah, it's like one of their new Donovan Mitchell type jerseys.
Yeah.
Corona type jerseys, for sunshine. And so that one. I'll pick that one.
See if I can find it.
It looks like sherbet. It's like red, orange, yellow.
I feel
and
like
the weird part is it just doesn't. I could see if the Suns tried that.
Yeah.
If the Suns tried that, I'd be like, okay, well, what does Utah have to do with this color scheme? They just
the Jazz shouldn't beat Utah anyway. It should go back to New Orleans.
All right, true that.
Yeah, that looks like a Suns jersey.
It's like, what is this?
Utah shouldn't have a team called the Jazz anyway. Utah sucks.
Yeah.
Like
I think I remember the explanation for this. I think they said it was supposed to be like the Utah sky blending into the mountains.
Whatever it is, it's goofy, and it didn't.
Because I do have some really orangish red mountains out there, but
right. Well, this is why Rudy Gobert got coronavirus from. That's fucking terrible. Ryan, close this out, Brisky.
Get this off the screen.
No, this is going to lead right into the. There it is.
Oh, the mustard Jaguars.
Jaguars.
Oh my
God.
Oh, these are so bad. The mustard yellow color rush jerseys. And like the Jags have that like teal color and they went with the gold. What the hell is wrong with you?
With the Dijon.
Oh, wait, scroll back up to that so it's on Daily Snark. Jaguars cat poop yellow color rush uniforms. It's better than when they had the Bills and the Jets when they were red and green, and people who have like red and green color blindness couldn't see. You couldn't tell what team it was.
Who is who?
Oh, what a load of shit.
A close second for me, probably.
What's yours, Lionel?
Those throwback Steelers jerseys where they look
like the Bumblebees.
The Bumblebees.
Yeah.
I think probably
look like old prison shirts.
Mine. I'm gonna say the last Tampa uniform, not this one that they have.
Was it pewter? What's that color?
The pewter and red with like the digital clock numbers.
Oh my god,
those were pretty trash.
It made me motion sick.
Oh, it was so bad. Who else has tried to rebrand? The D-backs have got some really shitty colors and stuff like that.
Yeah, their color schemes aren't good.
Yeah. But of course, I think the one that I think offends me the most is the current Atlanta Hawks uniforms. You don't have Atlanta on the front of your home jersey. You just don't do it. You're supposed to put Hawks on it, and the Volt green looks like yellow when it's next to the red. It's
and they have those strange little triangles that I've always disliked.
I'm down with the triangles though. Like I'm okay with it.
I remember we've had this in the text. Yeah. We had this convo before. I just think that plain black would be so much better.
I think they should go back to the blue and green.
To the what? The blue, red, and white?
No, the blue and green. The Pete Maravich.
Oh yeah,
those are nice.
I have that jersey in my closet over here.
Yeah, I'm into that. Or just go full on Pac-Man, right?
Yeah, I think they should bring back either Dominique's or the one that Dikembe and Mookie Blaylock made famous, like the black one with the hawk on it.
That's
with
nice.
The black to red or whatever that was.
I don't mind the Peachtree jerseys that much, though.
I like the Peachtree jerseys.
Yeah, they're cool. I look like Power Ranger a little bit.
If they really want to do Peachtree jerseys, though, they should have like 15 of them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Different Peachtree jerseys.
That was an Atlanta joke, listeners.
Because there's a lot of Peachtree streets. All right, dope. That's gonna be about it. Let's do recommendations. Let's do something that something you've been watching recently. I've been watching For All Mankind on Apple TV Plus. It's from Ronald D. Moore, who did Battlestar Galactica, the most recent Battlestar Galactica, starring Joel Kinnaman, who is in Suicide Squad and the first season of Altered Carbon. He has the emotional range of a cardboard box, but he's fine in this. The idea goes that like the Soviets beat America to the moon, so America's got to play catch up. So it's like an alternate history sort of thing where they start like drafting women astronauts and, like sort of what would happen. The writing's pretty good. The production values are pretty high, and I like space. So that's what I got. Marco, what you watching, man?
So recently, I know some of y'all probably know Michael Ealy. He's like the light-skinned guy who was in Barbershop. He never really has had a big role. And he's sort of, like you said, he's very moody all the time.
He was in that cop show, right, with Carl Urban, where they were like, he was like a robot cop.
One. He was a robot cop. I know the one where he played like the creepy boyfriend who was like under the bed, and then another one where they had the creepy neighbor. But I think there's this show on Hulu. It's called Sleeper Cell. And it was like actually made around 2000s, early 2000s. I was watching. I'm like, damn, this is a good show. And this dude can act for real. It's like, I don't know why they never given him more roles like this, but y'all should go check it out. It's on Hulu, Sleeper Cell.
That's a good one. Dollar?
I hit kind of a dry spell, but I've been watching Sex Education season 2.
Yep.
Gillian Anderson, good Scully, for those of you who don't know who that is. Really good. Really, really acted well. I cannot think of his name, but the best friend on that show is a superb actor. And the writing's who? Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah. Eric is, whatever his name is in real life, is a great actor.
They called him like Shooty or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's African.
It's a funny ass show.
Yeah.
Micah, what you got? What you been watching?
So, other than Nate Jackson's The Twerk Circus, I get my thrill on Twerk Circus. That's one of the best things out right now. Tuesday nights, 7 to whatever time, what Pacific Standard Time. But other than that, the only thing I'm really waiting on is The Boys season 2 come out on Amazon Prime. Once I've been waiting. It's supposed to be either this month, next month, but due to Corona, it's no telling. But I'm really waiting for that to come through. So,
if y'all are looking for something to watch this weekend, if you got kids, Artemis Fowl hits Disney Plus. It's a series about a child super thief battling fairies. I don't know. It was a popular book series back when Harry Potter was out. We might check that out. And for you grown-ups, Spike Lee's newest joint, Da 5 Bloods, hits Netflix tomorrow. It's a Vietnam epic. I plan on watching that mess. I love Spike. I love when Spike rags on the Knicks.
I love Spike's crazy camera angles and spin arounds and all the strange things he does in his films.
I love Spike's direction, man. So I might make a double feature of that and Black Klansman tomorrow just to get my Spike Lee on.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's it. Yeah. All right, so thanks for listening. This has been the Fish and Grits podcast. We are Lionel, Ryan, Marco, and Micah. Our podcast is brought to you by Anchor. It's a free online podcast generating app. We use it for distribution. We love it. It's fantastic. Our theme music is by Vatilas, also known as Juan Solano. And if you're looking for hot sauce, hit my boy Sway Sauce up on Instagram. I just got my drop of mango habanero and Carolina Reaper today. It changed my life.
Mango habanero is amazing.
Is that thing burning?
This batch of Reaper was a little, it wasn't quite as spicy as you wanted it to be, but it's got some pep to it. It's got a really nice color. The mango habanero is dope.
I'd almost prefer the Reaper maybe not being too hot because,
it'll burn your face off.
Yeah, it's got a nice pop to it, which was good. So yeah, my boy Sway Sauce, hit him up. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for liking, subscribing. Take care of each other. Be good to yourselves. All right. Bye.